So did you just always know you were going to be a ball player? I mean, was that just something you were going to do? I mean, did your mom play too?
Yes, my mom played softball at the University of Hawaii.
Okay.
And so it was kind of just always in my blood, but definitely not something that they thought was for me. Like growing up, I was definitely more like into like the girly things, like dresses and like playing dress up. And my grandma always tells me, she was like, "Oh, Ailana, like, I never thought you would make it this far in softball." And I'm just like, "Grandma," but it's just amazing. Like, it's just amazing having that family, or having my family really, and just be able to push each other. And like, that's our family time, is when we bond with each other, is when we're all working out together. We have my mom, we have my dad hitting us ground balls, and then me and my brother at short fielding, my sister at first catching us, and then she goes to the outfield, then she throws the bases to us. Like, it's a whole family thing.
So what was your portal process like, and first times you were talking with Coach Gasso, and kind of your journey to get here?
Yeah, so at the end of our season at Campbell, I wasn't 100% sure that I was even going to transfer. It was a thought in my head, and it was something that I really just leaned on God for, and I prayed, and I was like, "God, just tell me what I'm supposed to do." I'm very based on everything happens for a reason, and that God was going to give me a sign. And when I got the sign that I needed, I knew it was time. And then JT actually reached out to me first and asked if he could set up a call with him and the other coaches. And then I think a few hours later, Coach Gasso called me. We had a pretty lengthy, really amazing conversation. And then the next morning, Coach Rocha called me. We got on the phone talking about like what bullpens were like and things like that. Me just trying to get more information. And then we set up a visit, and then here I am.
When you got here, just what stood out as far as just the entire Oklahoma kind of experience in that recruiting process?
I think just how family-oriented it is. I'm a huge family person, and family is everything to me. Especially being like 20 hours from home, I definitely wanted to be in a place where it still felt like family. And so that was really big for me, and I mean, it just felt like this was where God wanted me to be, and God wanted me to spend my last year, so it was pretty clear.
Bella, was it hard to not be able to go through fall ball? I know you went through the practices, but did you feel like you missed out not being able to do the fall ball portion?
I wouldn't say necessarily I missed out. Like I said, everything happens for a reason, so I was just trying to trust the process the entire fall. I was able to scrimmage the team in practices and things like that, so I'm still going up against one of the best, or the best, offense in the nation, and it's preparing me for spring. So, yeah, I've still had great opportunities.
Sam, can you talk a little bit, same question about the transfer portal process, what it was like when Oklahoma reached out, how they reached out? And then I want to ask you also a second part. You see how transfer portal pitchers have been used here and how Oklahoma relies on them. How much did that play a part in your decision to come here?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of my story is actually really similar to Bella's. You know, it was, I relied on God a lot. You know, the portal had closed and then it reopened due to coaching changes at my previous school. So I felt like that was a really big sign to me that it was God pushing me to get out there and explore where I could be. So a lot went into, just like how Bella said, just talking to the coaches and finding out more about the school. And then when it comes to the transfer pitchers, I think that just gave it kind of a new opportunity. It's like I have the opportunity to play. I'm going to work for that opportunity because nothing is given in this sport, especially at this school. So it just pushed me to want it more.
Coach Rocha, you've seen how she works with pitchers. What's it been like learning under her in the limited time you've been here so far?
Yeah, I've said it before and I'll say it again. She speaks with so much confidence that as a pitcher it gives me so much more confidence going out there. So I think working with her is amazing for mentally and just physically, and learning the game and learning new aspects of it.
Ailana, I want to go back to something you said earlier. You talked about growing up being sort of girly and maybe not, a lot of people didn't anticipate this path for you. When did you decide, or how did you come to decide that softball was for you?
It was actually a funny story. Going into my 8th grade year, after my 7th grade summer of playing softball, I actually wanted to quit. And I told my dad, I was like, "Dad, I don't think this is for me. Like, I want to quit softball." And he said no. So I was like, well, if I'm stuck, I might as well continue to work hard. And It was just, the reason why I wanted to quit is I just felt discouraged. I mean, I was always the smallest, the tiniest. Like, I just felt really discouraged, but it just proves that, like, just continue to work hard and really trust yourself. And when you have a good support system, like, you can do anything you put your mind to.
When did it flip for you that you were good with it?
I would say 8th grade. Yeah, I really started like working hard. I had a coach. I played travel ball under a coach who believed in me, and when she believed in me, that's when I really started believing in myself.
Ailana, what's it been like, just since you got here, like working with Coach JT, and what about his approach to hitting? What I guess kind of what have you learned from that and talking hitting with it?
I've learned so much from being here, especially hitting wise. Like coming from a program like BYU, we talked hitting, but when you come to a program like Oklahoma, you really talk hitting here. Like, and I guess you really understand. I understand hitting a lot more than I did the whole like ever playing college softball, and really. I think he has helped me a lot with my mental game, especially, which plays a huge role.
On kind of similar lines, they talked about the transfer portal process. What was it like for you, but then also specifically, what were maybe some of the discussions that the coaching staff had with you in terms of where you could help in, what your role could be once you got here?
Yeah, so I actually entered the portal the very last day that it closed, and it was a really it was a scary process, but then, like they said, like, I just trusted God, and I really felt like God, like, this was a plan for me, and transferring was the best for me. So Coach Gasso reached out to me, and once I started getting on the phone with her and talking to her more, I was able to really, like, build a relationship with her, and I came on my visit, and the rest was history.
Ailana, what was it like last year for you at BYU playing in Norman, and what was it about Coach Gasso's recruiting pitch that sold you to Oklahoma?
I would say that playing here was amazing, just because I loved, even though like the fans weren't cheering for me and like they're against me, it was just so amazing playing in an environment where they love softball, where everyone was so into the game. I mean, at my old school, we barely had anyone coming to the game, so playing in front of like a sold out stands, like, it was so amazing. And I would say what really sold me was definitely I like her mindset in competing and just constantly competing. Like, you don't have to you don't have to be perfect, but if you compete, then I like that mindset.
Isabella, I'm curious, you threw a lot of innings where you came from, but I know you and Sam, and you guys are always throwing, and you guys probably throw a lot of innings. But in some ways, was it okay not to pitch as much this fall so you could come back stronger, or does that matter in softball because you guys throw so much?
Yeah, I think, especially with how amazing our staff is here, no one here needs to throw every inning or a lot of innings or carry a majority of the innings. I think especially with this being Sam's senior year and this being my 5th year, we're getting up there in age, so I think definitely having an entire staff that is capable and trustworthy is really going to help us, especially go farther in postseason, because it helps the longevity of our bodies being rested and our bodies not being completely worn out trying to get through conference.
Sam, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I would definitely say I agree. I think the deeper your staff is, the farther you can go, the more you can rely on them, because it's, when it comes to a game, you don't, like, no team can just say, like, oh, she's going to start this game. Like, you don't know who's going to start because we have a whole roster of pitchers. So I think in the long run, it's going to be really good. I liked the amount of innings I got this fall. I thought it was a fair amount. I thought it was a good amount, and I liked how it was pretty much even amongst all the pitchers. So.
These guys hear it all the time. I coach my daughter's youth softball team, so these guys all know about it. They hear my stories all the time. I noticed in your bio you coach youth softball. You can talk about just giving back to the game and giving back to kids.
Yeah, so I have twin little sisters. They are 13 and they are in the game. And so when it comes to them and teams that they've been on, I've loved to be a part of that and help coach where I can. You know, coaching your own sisters is kind of the hardest thing because they say you don't know what you're talking about. But coaching other friends has been amazing. So, but no, I love it. I've also given pitching lessons for quite a few years now. So that's really fun. And just being able to be somebody that's a part of that and helping the game grow and then giving back the knowledge that you've learned over the years is amazing because there's so many things that I've learned recently that if I would have known when I was 12, 13, just the amount of like growth that I would have had from that.
This question is for all three. You guys, I asked your teammates also. You guys enter a program that's won 4 straight national championships. The bar set really high. How do you guys embrace the expectations of this program when you step into a new program? And that question's for all three.
At least for me, I don't really think of the past too much. Yes, they're amazing and they always been known for having a strong program, but I think that she recruited all of us and she knows obviously what she's doing, so I think it's always good just to really not think and compare yourself to others and really just be your own person because that's what got all of us here. So I think really just not looking too much at the past and like embracing how we are as people and softball players and playing the game like we know, and with their amazing coaching, like I think that we have a really great team this year and will continue to be great.
I agree with Ailana. I think it's going to be like a different look at what the Sooner team normally is, but I think it's going to be really good and that we're going to find a way to try to continue this legacy that Oklahoma has had. But like Ailana said, like not comparing to what the past has been. You know, we're a brand new team and just playing how we play.
I mean, I think they've said it best, and I don't really know if there's much to add, but I think it's important to, like Ailana said, trust that Coach Gasso recruited all of us here for a reason, and if she didn't think we were capable, then we wouldn't be here. So I think remembering that and staying within yourself and staying true to the player that has gotten you here is the best way to success. Obviously being a sponge with the amazing coaching staff and the amazing players around you, and letting the competition at practice sharpen your skills and just staying within yourself and trusting that we're here for a reason. So as long as we work hard, we'll accomplish what we're working towards.